guys, welcome to Conversations with the Creator. And today I have a beautiful guest with me. But before we get into it, like we do in the South, you have to introduce your company. And I want to introduce my company to the conversation. So this week's guest is a Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, accomplished speaker, transformational coach, successful entrepreneur, and owner of an 11-year brick and mortar business. But what makes her story so powerful isn't just what she has accomplished. It's what she had to overcome to get there. She spent years battling fear, self-doubt, rejection, and the belief that her voice wasn't enough. She had the vision, the passion, and the desire to make an impact, but there were times when she found herself silencing her own potential. That journey became the foundation of her Unmute Yourself movement. Her story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest obstacles standing between us and our purpose isn't the lack of ability, it is the fear of letting ourselves be heard. So welcome to Conversations with the Creator, Miss Rebecca Davis, aka Miss Unmute.
Hi. Hello.
I gotta get some
Thank you
claps.
for-
I gotta get some claps in here. I gotta get some sound effects here. So before we get into it, I want to do a few things. First, I want to give you your flowers. So, I'm sensitive, so hopefully I can get through it
Oh,
so we just recently got off a 5-day mutual. Of course, y'all see me. So this is the most y'all ever see me on video aside from Sundays. And this woman is the reason for that. And then I also went live yesterday, which was an impromptu because I didn't plan on it, but I was like, let me go ahead and do this. But I have to give you your flowers first and foremost because the first one was like the cake. The cake, it was like not as strenuous as the
Yep.
second one, but this one was like the icing. And from beginning when we met just through social media and we met on that Zoom, and it was just like you just it was just amazing. And you definitely can feel that, like you always say, no mean girl energy, and I never felt that with you, and I definitely appreciate it. I'm not gonna go too long because y'all know I'm sensitive. And you've been dubbed Auntie Becca, so don't be surprised now when you've been promoted to Auntie Becca, because that's just what you given me ever since I met you. It wasn't like, who is this little girl trying to, it was never that. So I gotta
Thank
change
you. I
I gotta change your
appreciate
name
that.
in my. I gotta change my name and your name in my phone now. So let's get into it. So I have a game, and this game came from what you did during the unmute. So like you put
Okay.
us in the hot seat, so I want to put the coach in the hot seat.
Okay.
So these are
Let's do it.
scenarios. I got 5 scenarios, and these are 5 scenarios where you can't unmute at all. So
Okay.
I don't expect you to, but you don't unmute at all. So first scenario is a major customer reports a serious problem.
So a major
So how would
customer.
a major customer?
Okay.
So say for instance, for you, let me rephrase that. A major client reports a problem. How would you respond to that?
Well, because that happens. Honestly, being in business as long as I have been, the first thing that never do is take anybody's problem personal. So I always
Mhm.
listen to see what the issue is, and I try my best to rectify it. Sometimes rectifying it means eating the cost in certain situations. So y'all don't be thinking you can come to me and make a problem and it's gonna be free, because nah, that ain't how it work all the time. But some
Mhm.
situations, that's just, you know, what it calls for. But yes, definitely I'm gonna rectify it and get to the bottom of it.
Okay, next scenario is you you disagree during a discussion. So say you're in, or having a collaboration and you disagree with what's going on.
Hmm.
And how would you respond? Because everything is always not peaches and cream.
Yeah. So then that's actually a good one, because a collaboration is kind of different, because in a collaboration, you and the other person are at the front line of their own businesses. So depending on the personalities and stuff, that can clash. So if I'm collaborating with somebody and there is a disagreement, um as l as long as it's not something that's tarnishing what I stand for, or my brand, or what I, believe in as far as that, then I figure we can try to get to a healthy medium. If we can't agree to disagree, hopefully we can get to a healthy medium, a compromise to move forward.
Mhm. Okay, next scenario. Someone spreads false information about you. Because we have talked about that. Because it's like, do you say something or do you just let it fly?
Oh, no. Now, back when I was muted, maybe I would be like, well, they don't really know me, so it don't matter. It ain't hurting me, whatever, whatever. But now with the way social media is and how one little thing can fly through thousands of hundreds of thousands of people, and I have a brand that I have worked so hard to build, oh yes, something will definitely be said. Something definitely will be said.
Okay. I can't get it on Facebook, but okay. But so next scenario is somebody asks, so this is in the sense of networking. And we talked about this
Okay.
as well. What makes hold on, I got ahead of myself. So someone asks, what does your company do?
Um, so what my company does, and I'm stopping because it just depends on the audience I'm in
Mhm.
and which brand I'm representing. So today, what if that was asked to me, I would say Rebecca Davis Enterprises is a company that does a number of things to help people not only start businesses, but help them to navigate in those businesses and scale them, as well as help them be visible in them, with a number of tools that helps them do things such as intentional networking, which comes with showing up as they are, not shrinking, and making them be the best entrepreneurs that they can be. That's what I would
Okay,
say if it
so
was asked to me
mhm.
today.
Okay, next n- come on, computer. Next scenario is last and final one is an investor asks, what makes your business different from your competitors?
Ooh. So again, it would depend on the type of investment and which brand I'm representing. But the one thing that's common in all of my brands, one of the things that sets me apart is I'm okay with not just showing the highlight reel of my life and how I started in entrepreneurship. I believe in telling
Mhm.
people the obstacles that I had to come across to let them know that I got over them and you can too. And no matter what type of business that is, So I think that's what sets me apart. I'm not one that's gonna say, "Oh, I made this amount in 2 days. I just woke up like this." No.
Mhm.
I went through some things, and I want people to always know that because I don't want people thinking they are failing in this business space because their day 1 is not somebody else's day 500. So, I
Definitely.
think that's one of the things that sets me apart.
Okay, let's get into it. So, when we talked, like I said, we just came off of the 5-day challenge, which was,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, it's an experience that you cannot really, like, explain, and then the work that we put in.
And so many people
So
slept on
oh, go
they
ahead.
assumed it was no, I was just saying so many people slept on it. They thought it was gonna probably be the same thing, and as I said in the first challenge, each challenge that I do is going
Mhm.
to it levels to it, it's gonna stretch you. It's not gonna keep you in the same box with each challenge. It's going to, you know, um, grow, your level of visibility, your level of, unmuting is going to, grow each challenge. So I was glad that y'all didn't like think, "Oh my god, this a lot," and not do it. So I'm glad.
Yeah, like I said, every what really what really made you turn it up a notch is where we couldn't do it the next day.
Mm-mm. That was one of the keys, and it was one time the first night I was like, "Well," but I knew if I didn't stay firm with that, it will continue to be that. And with the thing about when you're unmuting and you're trying to put yourself out there, the thing is you already know your greatness.
Mhm.
You already know who you are and whose you are. You already know that it's already in you. But the more you sit and have to think about it, that's more time you're talking yourself out of telling, what it
Mhm.
is that you to say. So that's why it was important that it was done right then.
Yeah, 'cause you was like, you got till
Mm,
midnight," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so doggone be," because we're on different time zone, and I'm sitting there like, "Oh my goodness." But nobody could really tell I was sleepy
no, and
because
everybody did it so well. Like everybody did it so
mhm.
well.
Yeah, we definitely did, and I'm proud. Shout out to all the women that did it because
Yes. I was very proud. I was like a very proud auntie because y'all really did that. Like even the stuff that was uncomfortable, like, and what I've noticed in these challenges, the things that are uncomfortable are pretty much talking about yourself, bragging on yourself,
Mhm.
And so I wanted to hear more of that.
I definitely agree, and especially I got to stretch out my comfort zone. I was like, yeah, I definitely was stretched and
And I could tell.
stretched and sleepy, stretched and sleepy. I was like, oh, let me do this. I'm already here, but it was definitely a great experience. It has definitely helped me, so I'm excited for what is to come, not only for myself, but you know everybody else. So
Mhm.
I want to get into. I know pretty much your story. But so let's go starting with your childhood. So were you like mute like during your childhood? Or were you like that kids? Cause some people were like the bubbly kid and then once they got older and the world kind of got of a hold to them, they kind of, shrunk.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yes, I was very quiet. So I'm an only child. I actually
Mhm.
did have a sister, but she passed away from SIDS as an infant.
Mhm.
So I was an only child growing up. So I was always to myself, by myself, because I was the only child. So people might say loner, and then you hear your mom in the back of your head, "What goes on in our house, stay in our house."
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, I don't want to just be talking and mess around and say something that ain't supposed to be said because your girl didn't like no whoopings. Like, whatever I had to do to not get a
Mhm.
whooping, that's what it was. But honestly, just growing up pretty much by myself as an only child, um, I played by myself a lot. I wasn't even starting in school, like I wasn't considered popular or the ones people chatted with. I had friends, don't get me wrong, but it was not like that. So I always kind of stayed to myself. And so in being quiet and muted and going through childhood, it kind of just moved on, as an adult. Now, as an adult, I tried, especially when I was starting out my business, I tried to network and do all of that stuff and meet people or whatever because I was a solopreneur. It was just me and my business. So I tried to do that and I was always met with the energy of, well, if I show you this, you might take my clients, or if I show you this, you're
Mhm.
gonna get better than me, or if I show you this, you're gonna that end up happening anyway. But no, I'm just playing. But it kind of pushed me back into my shell to where I was like, you know what? That's not who I am. I'm not that type of person. Like I give the shirt off my back, I show, I pay it forward, I do all of that. So if that's what
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur is, that's if that's what I'm met with, let me just stay to myself, stay in my office, continue to build my business, mingle with my clients, and that's it. And for years I felt like that was enough. But the problem was it just wasn't because as great as I was with my business, as good as I was in building it, you know, from the ground up on my own or whatever, people didn't know that. The only people that knew that were the people that came um to me, and which in the beginning wasn't a bad thing because the girl your girl built a big office, but it was so much more to just that. Like it was so much more. It was things I could have been, you know, mentoring and coaching and doing all those different things. But if it was just me and my clients and I didn't get out and tell people how great I was, what I've done, I've built this business from ground up. No, I'm not one that does all the flashy lifestyle marketing, but I done been through the hurdles. I done made all the mistakes. Like I done did that. Like I survived in this industry almost over 20 years in an industry that's supposed to
Mhm.
be seasonal that has been really good to me, and it's not by scamming folks. It's not by overcharging or getting over. It was about doing it the right way.
Mhm.
So people didn't know that because again, I didn't speak on it. I wasn't asked to speak on platforms. I wasn't asked to come train people. I wasn't asked to talk about what I did. When people had awards and stuff, my name I was skipped over, and so I started feeling like, you know what? I'm humble, but I don't like that because I run circles around a lot of these people who are getting all of these awards, and not just in the knowing how to do it, but in the numbers,
Mhm.
like for a long time. You know what I'm saying? The big box offices, all of that. So I was like, you know what? I started asking around. I was like, why am I skipped over? Why am I,
Mhm.
not asked to speak or talk on some of this stuff or just not recognized for nothing? Because I had told myself for years that I wasn't doing it for that, and I really wasn't. But at some point, I want my horn to be tooted too. So,
Mhm.
and that's what somebody told me. Honestly, Rebecca, you're good at what you do. You're one of the best ones out here that do it in our area, but nobody knows you. Nobody knows you do it. And then by that time, social
Mhm.
media was coming along, and I'm thinking, well, I don't have to get on social media. I've been doing it the old school way for these years, and I
Mhm.
realized I had to conform to that. I had to become visible. I had to start opening my mouth in these rooms that I'm in and letting them know, I'm here. I've done that. I've accomplished that. Let me tell you what I did. 200 clients, I'm at 600 clients, So I had to start unmuting. And that is where that movement came from. I said that, I recognize it in so many women who walk into these networking events, come to these conferences, and they shrink instantly when they walk in. They feel like, oh, I don't have anything to offer this group of people. These people are, they are making money, they're doing it, they're this or that. Maybe it didn't happen overnight. We had to get to that point. And so I just didn't want people to feel like that's how they had to show up because I had did it for so many years, showing up like that. So That's where that movement started.
Yeah, you definitely, if you want it bad enough, you definitely gotta show up. You
Yep,
you have to
you
show up.
definitely do.
Okay, I got a question. So what? Because we know we always talk about visibility and being seen.
Mhm.
In your opinion, what is the difference between the two, being visible or simply just being seen?
That is a real good question because some people think it's one and the same. You can be loud, wrong, and seen. You can be loud and wrong, and because you're so loud and wrong with it, people see you. But to be visible
Mhm.
is to show up as who you are as far as not only just showing up, but what do you bring? What substance do you have? What's the impact that you're attempting to make? What are the things that you are sharing and that you're putting out there? And the more of those things that you're putting out there, sharing, and people are knowing you for, and people know this is what
Mhm.
your name is attached to, this is what you do, that's visibility.
So, how would somebody mix that? Because especially being busy, you have to be visible, and then you can't be unmuted. Because I know for me, I lost a lot of opportunities due to fear. And how would somebody get over that fear, especially being in business?
Honestly, it's a number of ways, but the main way is you just gonna have to do it. Like, you're gonna have to overcome that, and it's not gonna happen immediately. It didn't for me. The first stage I spoke on about unmuting and talking about that, I was nervous. I was nervous. I was just shaking. I mean, the night before, I was just like, Lord, I don't know. I started to call in the next day and said I had COVID and all of that. I was so nervous, but we talk ourselves out
Mhm.
of that. And what I had to realize, and the thing that I tell myself now is, Rebecca, you said that you wanted to change the world in some type of way. You can't do that if people don't know who you are, if people don't know what you're about, if people don't hear you, if you can't overcome that fear and show people just who you are. And with each time, that fear just kind of went away. It just went away. And for me, I always think about my why. My why. I'm like, Rebecca, you done already let a lot of time pass because you felt like
Mhm.
you didn't have anything to offer. Now's your time. It's not like time is gonna go backwards. So now is your time. You get out there and you make it happen. And once I do, what helps me now is either you gonna get it or you not. Either it's something you need or it's something you don't. But if I talk to a room of 50 and two people get something out of it, I feel like it was worth it. So for me, it was just simply doing it, just doing it. And the more
Uh-huh.
you do it, that fear
Mhm.
is a thing of the past. It becomes a
Yeah,
thing
that's
of the past.
definitely because. Mhm. That's the more thing with the challenge. That's definitely what it was for me. And the more and more I got on video, because we had talked about it, everybody's like, "You got a pocket." I still get nervous. You would know that because once these lights on and this camera get
Mhm.
turned on, y'all wouldn't nobody would know because it just goes away. But then by the time
Yeah.
that camera shuts off and the light go off, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. But you always got to put, if it's something I've learned, even though if it's something that you really, really want to do, you got
Mhm.
to put one foot in front of the other, and you got to show up. You got to show up.
Yep.
So let's get into this. You been 11 years at your brick and mortar. And I know it wasn't easy because you have talked about it, and that's what inspired me. Because, like I said, the way you carry yourself and, the way you hold your head up high, and just hearing your stories, you got to talk about it. Because it's inspired,
So,
for those that don't know.
yeah, because I get asked all the time, like, especially people know that I do taxes and they look at taxes as a seasonal business. So they're like, well, what do you do when you're not doing taxes and you have your office? I pay rent. It's like, it is what it
Mhm.
is. But so I've been in business 20 years, and out of those 20 years I've managed a brick and mortar for almost 12, about 12 and a half years now. And I started off in a small suite, then I went to, like,
Mhm.
a office, or I shared with other people. Then for something that happened there, I stepped into my own commercial building, and I've been in my own commercial building since then. It's hard. I'm not gonna get on here and lie, because 'cause I'm not
Mhm.
one of the ones that's on social media be like, "Oh, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. I
No,
make that in my."
you ain't gonna
It is.
sugarcoat nothing.
Yes, it is hard, and it's been every other day. I'm like, "I wonder would my clients be okay if I went virtual? Because I can work right here from this office and be good." But
Mhm.
I have built such a rapport from my clients. A lot of my clients have been with me an average of 10, 12, 15 years. So they love to come in and sit and talk to me. They love to get that interaction. I have a lot of clients that file virtual because I have clients in other states, but those clients love coming in.
Mhm.
So the good thing about it is I do other things out of my office to kinda help in the slower months. I do a virtual mail, I do notary, I do other things, so it kinda is not just sitting. But it's not, it's not easy, because think about it, I have 2 of everything. I have 2, household bills and 6 bills. I have payroll, I have people that I pay, so it's like for me, when people say, "Oh, you always working." I'm 100% self-employed now. I have to. Like,
Mm.
it's no paycheck that's gonna save me. It's no, so it's not easy. But if you know the purpose of it, behind it, you know what it is you're trying to accomplish. For me, quitting it and failure is not an option. I have to keep going. And there are times where it gets bleak. I ain't gonna lie, it gets bleak, but I'm like, "Rebecca, you got this, you got this. Just keep pushing." So, yeah, and now it's like all the years I've been doing it, it's just like second nature now. It is. Yeah,
Mhm.
I could imagine not having that overhead, and, not having to have the office or whatever, but then my people that work for me, what would they do? And it's like I'm so used to it now, to where it's like some of my clients I could not imagine not seeing in that personal interaction every year. So I do what I have to do.
Yeah, that's amazing because like you say, especially in this time frame in running
Yes.
a business, it's hard, especially me just starting. I'm not going to say I'm starting over, I'm pivoting. So it's,
Mhm.
making a few changes. And
And
speaking of
sometimes that's
changes,
like starting over.
mhm, some people, be go back to, fear. It's okay
Mhm.
to start over. It's,
Mhm.
I rather, somebody start over than continue to just ram the business in the ground. Because I
Mhm.
know for me, and like I tell anybody, like the women that I have been in contact with and just, really be that are in business, it just inspired me to be like, okay, this is what you need to do. And I would be wrong to not be like, okay, I know somebody can help me. It's a plethora of women that can help me and don't mind helping me. So I would be a fool not to, take heed to the things that y'all say, that y'all teach me and that y'all say to me. Cause I'm definitely not that millennial that don't listen. Cause I be listening. Sometimes, like I said, I be tired, but I still be listening. But it just, like I said, it's not that I'm grateful. And it's not that many people that's in my, young women that's in my position that have the women around me to be like, okay, you messing up, you slipping, and I don't take it, no kind of way. So let's get
Exactly. Because it
into, oh,
takes
go
that.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say
Go
it takes
ahead.
that. If you know somebody has been through it, if you know somebody has been through it and they're willing to give you that,
Mhm.
that knowledge or that tap on the shoulder, say, look, this, that, that's a blessing.
Mhm. It definitely is. 'Cause the old me would've definitely took it the wrong way. But
Hmm.
now I'm just like with maturity and growth, I'm like, okay, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm ready for it because nothing is given to you
Right.
when you're not ready for it. So let's get into bossed up bundles and boutique. Where did that come from? Because when I first seen it, I was like, she do taxes, she got her own movement, then she got bundles, and she got clothes. And I'm not mad at it one bit. You gotta get the bag. How did that come about?
So, whew, now when I say so, Bossed Up Fashions Boutique, that started first. So that is my clothing boutique where I service men, women, children, clothes, accessories, shoes,
Mhm,
purse, handbag, whatever. Now, the reason for that was I am a community person by heart. Like I give back, even
mhm,
when I can't give back, I give back. So when doing tax time for so long, um, I started a nonprofit to where I helped the elderly do their taxes. Or the ones that have been subject to identity theft that couldn't really pay a tax preparer to help them. That's what I did in my nonprofit. So I wasn't getting like grants and funding or none of that.
mhm,
Every year I do the back to school drive. I do help the babies at Christmas. I sponsor families at Thanksgiving. I was doing that and it was coming out of my pocket because I wasn't getting money. So I was not able to help a whole bunch of people, but my goal was to help more each year. So I thought about it. I said, well, maybe I can start this boutique because I always wanted to do like an online boutique. So I was like, maybe I can
mhm,
start this boutique as a way to fund that nonprofit to be able to help more people. And so I started the boutique. In my mind, I got 700 tax clients, so surely I should have 700 boutique clients. But that wasn't the case. The boutique was the hardest thing that I'd done. It was so many times I was like, you know what, this is just not for me. But I kept saying the reason I did it. Just remember the reason you did it. So once I started, it was just online. It was an online boutique.
mhm,
People from all over was shopping. I was sending out orders, I'm able to put money in the nonprofit. So it was doing so well to where I talked myself into now opening up an online store because people were like, if you had a store, we could come in, we would shop more because we could come in and see the stuff and
mhm.
browse. And what did I do? Open a store.
Open a
Ask
store.
me how many of them folks came in there and shopped. So that was one of the hardest things because it was still online, but even opening the store, and I opened the store probably now, it's probably been like, 4, 4.5 years ago. Um,
Mhm,
it started off kinda slow with people coming in or
mhm,
whatever. So I had to adjust and pivot and do different things because trying to compete with, like, the Sheins and the Amazon and stuff. Because let me just say
mhm,
this, I'm I'm a person, Imma support. Imma support your business. I
mhm,
don't care if I can get the shirt off Shein for $2 and you got it for $3. I know what it takes to run a business in this economy, so Imma come and pay you that $3 for that shirt. But I can't expect that out of everybody, you know what I'm saying? So competing with Shein and Amazon where they're getting 100 items for a penny, the same items I have to pay maybe $3 for versus they get it for a penny.
mhm,
I couldn't sell it for as cheap as they sold it. So a lot of my business, went to the Sheins and the Amazons and stuff like that. But you know what? I didn't give up because, like I tell them in my marketing, what sets me apart, you can come in and touch mine. You can come in and see mine. You can come in and try it on. You can come in and, yeah, they might be cheaper, but to get it, hope it work out. And then you got to try to send it back if it don't. So that's the thing I marketed on. And so I just kept pushing. I'm like, okay, my audience is out there And so people started shopping or whatever. And so now, fast forward after, the economy started acting the way it's acting,
Mhm.
I thought, what can I enhance the boutique? Meaning, people come in for this, they'll automatically see I have clothes too, and that was hair. So I started researching the hair. When I say researching, like I wear hair, so I knew it had to be that
Mhm.
hair. It had to be. I gave it to stylists. I'm like, break it, color it, dye it, cut it. Show me do it shed. Tell me does the closure is whatever it is, tell me so that I can have the best hair. And so several people I just gave the hair to take it to their stylist, to test it, to whatever. And the results were like, girl, you got something. This is some hair. This is bomb hair. This is good. So I went on and started putting it together, ordering hair and this and this and that. So that's where Bossed Up Bundles came in. It came as an extension of the boutique so that if people come for hair, they can see I sell clothes. If they come in for clothes, they can see I sell hair. And my goal is to eventually be a beauty and fashion, person. Yeah,
Mhm.
Fashion Nova, I'm coming for you. I said it. I said it. I said it. I may be ambitious. I may sound crazy. They might say, girl, you crazy. I'm coming for them. But my goal is to be the next them, not be them, be right there neck and neck with them. And
Mhm.
so that's my goal. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, that amazes me because, like I said, when I seen it, I was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, am I tripping?" And then I was like, "Okay." Because, most people, when you see them, it was the way that you had it together. Because some people say, I
Hmm.
got hair, I got clothes, but it's more quantity than quality.
The quality. Yeah. I'm
And
definitely a quality first
and
person.
knowing you,
Yeah.
I know you not gonna just put, anything out there because through business, a lot of people like to go back to what you said earlier about scamming and stuff. People really do that. And it's, to me, at a point, it's like a hustle to some folks. It's not
Hmm.
it's not a business. And, it kind of make people who are doing the honest business, make them look bad. And, people don't want to do business. And I just be
Yeah,
like,
because for me,
go ahead.
For me, I'm not don't get me wrong, I want your money. I want it, but I want your repeat business. I've never been a
Mm-hmm.
person that, "Oh, well, as long as I get their money the first time, I got it. I don't care if they don't come back." No, that's why I have almost 1,000 clients in my tax office. They come back because I need the longevity. It doesn't do me no
Mm-hmm.
good if you come and buy something from my shop for $12 and never come back again. That doesn't do me any good. I need for you to be able to repeat customer and tell other people about it. And if I'm giving you not quality stuff or, scamming or getting over and doing all of that, you ain't gonna tell nobody else. So that's what it's about for
Mm-hmm.
me. It's about you coming back and bringing somebody else with you.
And like you said, in longevity. It's like if
Hmm.
you don't have a plan, it don't. I know just from my experience, I didn't really have a plan. I just knew I just wanted to just go into business. But now that I'm slowly learning, you got to have a plan.
You
You got to
definitely
have
do.
some type of structure. You got to definitely have some type of structure. So I'm gonna ask you, what has entrepreneurship taught you that cannot be learned in a book?
Ooh, baby, baby, so much. But I would I would just give a few things. Uh, I One of the things, and I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing, but I'm glad that I understand it now. The thing
Mhm,
about me is I take people as how they present theirself. I take them for who they say they are. So the one thing that I have learned in these entrepreneur streets in my big grown age is people are not who they say they are. Like I will take
mhm,
you as you are. would take you with no money, 3 shirts and 2 pair of pants, no like, I just want you to be you. I don't want nobody feeling like they have to dress up for me or feel like they have to be somebody because I'm not. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna be nobody but Rebecca with my bifocals on that I got on now. My hair need recoloring up here at the top. I can't be nobody but me.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, I got $9 million when I know I don't. I'm not gonna be like, oh,
Mhm.
I started this business yesterday and now I'm already a multi when I'm not. Like I've learned that people are not who they say they are. And I hate that. I hate that people feel like they
Mhm.
have to show up as a representative just to get a certain attention from somebody. Like, I just hate that. So
Mm.
that's one thing. People are not who they say they are. Two, people's work ethic is not like it was at one point of time. Like, back when I started my business, that was the difference. People, they understood the process. They understood that
Mhm.
you have to go through the process. It's no shortcuts and all of this and that. You have to go through the process to get what you want out of your business. Now people are
Definitely.
not do that. They're wanting the shortcut. They're wanting the Cliff Notes
Mhm.
version of it. And it just gives, I feel, entrepreneurship a bad name. Yes, it's a difference in saying, well, why let somebody go through all of this, the mistakes, when you can help them not to? That's not what I'm saying, because I love to not have somebody make mistakes that I already went through and know how to get there.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is that sometimes if it says you have to do 300 things to get this, do the 300 things. Don't go and pay somebody $5,000 to skip the 300 things. And now you're doing
Mhm.
your clients a disservice because you had to go through those 3,000 things to know how to help your clients. And because you didn't do that, now you out here doing bad business. So that's what I mean by going through the process and doing it that way. And so many people just don't want to do that anymore. So
Mhm.
that's what I've
Popcorn,
learned. It's
popcorn
so much
results.
more, but Imma just leave with you with them 2.
Mhm. And that crazy that you said, and Imma use this as an analogy. So, I was on my way to the library, and it was a shortcut through the neighborhood versus going the way I
Mhm,
usually go. And I was like, "Okay, Imma go this way," thinking it was going to be a shortcut, but in actuality, it was longer than the other way than the way I usually go. So that made me think, like, just in life in general, don't take no
mhm.
shortcuts because it's gonna be
Just do it.
longer than
Certain
what
shortcuts are
you
good.
usually do.
Yeah,
And I
certain
just was
shortcuts
like,
are
"Oh."
good, but not
Mhm.
all of 'em.
But that
No, I was
shortcut,
just
I was
saying
like,
certain short
"Oh." Mhm.
yeah. No, go ahead, go ahead.
'Cause
I was just
oh, go ahead.
agreeing certain
And my just
shortcuts
I get
are good.
what you and I do agree with you because in that instance, I thought it was going to be short way. But then it ended up being the long way, and I just was like, just keep it's just like, why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly.
Just keep what you had and just build on what you had. Because that's what I'm learning. I'm like, "Okay, why are you starting over?" Because people are actually, like, seeing me, and that's one thing Imma say, because I'm like you now, since I've just been a part of Unmute. I just don't care no more because like people seen me literally grow on social media. They seen the changes, and that's one thing I was not gonna hide from nobody about me just changing about the podcast and about where I was going in business. I wasn't gonna hide that, and people are seeing me from when I first started to now. I wanted people to see that. And
Mhm.
I'm getting into the content where people are going to see the behind the scenes, like, behind the scenes of me putting, stuff together. And that's the one thing social media does not, they, like you said, show the highlight reels. Y'all see me canceling shows, you know, taking 4 weeks off. I wanted people to show that. And I was like, if the people that support me truly support me, gonna support me regardless. And it's people that
Exactly.
text me like, "You all right? I ain't seen you in a minute." I'm like, "I'm okay, I'm trying to get through this." And like I said, I'm working through the fear, and just like this last unmute just really helped me work through that and just be like, "Okay, what you gonna do?" Because I'm not like you always say, at this big old age, I don't care no more.
Mm-mm.
I don't care. Y'all seeing it. Y'all seeing the real deal. I'm not saying a podcast, saying I have a podcast just to say I have a podcast. No. As much as I wanted to quit, I'm like, I
Mhm.
can't quit because I got a bunch of people that's not gonna let me quit. So therefore, I had to put my best foot forward, and that's just one thing I want to show people, and just not the next generation of creators. I'm literally doing this and I'm not making no money. And I don't know why people see me on social media thinking I'm making money. No, it's gonna come. But,
Yeah.
and if you're waiting on the money, social media, to be honest with you, if you're not making a fool of you, I've learned through this process, if you're not making a fool of yourself, if you're not being negative, you not gonna. And I think that's why it's taking it longer for me, because I
Mhm.
want to do it with integrity. I want to,
Exactly.
I don't care if 40, if I don't care if I'm 40 making money, I'll do that. I don't care if it's 4 years from now, I will do that. But that's enough of that, because y'all know I can yap all night long. So with you unmuting, how has that helped you use your voice differently to leading business? In leading your business, I'm sorry.
Um, Actually, in several ways, boundaries are put in place. For the longest in my
Mhm.
business, I felt like because I wanted to be different, I had to accept certain things, and those certain things just caused a lot of burnout. So I had to
Mhm.
put boundaries in place. I had to know my worth and add tax. I had to understand that if people felt like I'm not worth what I think I'm worth, then it's okay to let them go elsewhere because I know my stuff. I know what I bring to the
Mhm.
table and the plate, you know? So I had to understand that. And sometimes we don't believe that. So other people don't see that. So I had to
Mhm.
start believing that. Like, girl, you done did this. Like, your business stay within the top
Mhm.
5, wherever you move to, you are doing your thing. So people, the knowledge that I have, the time I go and spend on my knowledge, I know, and I ain't trying to throw no shade. I'm just call it like it is. I know so many tax pros. I don't see them in not one tax forum, not one tax conference, not one continuing
Mhm.
education,
And y'all
not
be
one
having
interview.
plenty of them. And y'all
Plenty,
have plenty
plenty.
of them.
And it's like not like it's one secret one that's happening where nobody don't know and they going to that one.
Mhm.
No, we all go to the same ones. And so I go and invest in that. Just because I've been doing it 20 some years, I never say, oh, I know everything. Nuh-uh. The people that who've been doing it less time, I learned something from them. Like I invest in my craft because that is what my
Mhm.
clients mean to me. And that they going to pay for that. Like you don't have to worry
Mhm.
about your stuff being stolen. You don't have to worry about me guessing. Like I go to the IRS once I get the knowledge and bring it back to my
Mhm.
clients. They don't have to wonder when I sit in front of this tax pro, do I need to know all of this stuff to ask her? No, because I got you. I know it. So I had to understand that this is a business. It's not personal. I love everybody, but I need to be paid my worth. And that's just that. And I'm not settling on that anymore. Um,
Mhm.
the also it helped me with, you know, knowing that the sky is the limit. Like, yes, you might have ran into a lot of obstacles. You may have, because sometimes I think that we tell ourselves we're already at our ceiling. We're already at our ceiling. We can't go any further
Mhm.
because, you know, financially, I just need to be do this or this is it. No, I'm okay with trying
Mhm.
something and failing. I could tell you so many businesses I've started and didn't work out. I
Mhm.
just like, okay, it didn't work out and I go to the next. That's one thing about me. I don't care about failing. Like I will fail at it,
Mhm.
but at least I can say I tried it. So I'm not afraid of that. And Mutant has helped me to be more open with that, more open with telling people, "Oh, girl, I tried that, it didn't work for me." Or, going to, like, Jasmine and the Ravens and all them and telling them, "Look, I know I'm auntie and
Mhm.
I'm older, but I'm having trouble in this area and y'all are so good at it. Can you help me?" I have no problem with that. And so many people feel like just because they've been doing it longer, they don't have room to learn. And that'll never, ever, ever, ever be me. So Unmuting has really helped in my business. It has given more opportunities because, like they say, a closed mouth don't get paid. That is the
Mhm.
truth. Like, I do not mind, like, opening my mouth now and saying, "Look, I can do it, but you gotta pay me, but I can do it."
Mhm.
I don't feel the need to have to always offer stuff free just to be nice or just because I feel like, "Whoa, well, they probably can't afford it," but they'll go buy Jordans, they'll go buy,
Mhm.
Balenciaga, they'll go buy all of that, they'll pay H&R Block, they'll go pay all those other people, so you gonna pay me, and I run circles around them. So you gonna pay more. So that's that's what it has helped in my business. And people say the little slick stuff, "Oh, you different." No, I just know my worth. And being
Mhm.
muted helps me to not know that. Now I know my worth at my big grown age. Better late than never. I know my worth. And you gonna pay it and I'm gonna add tax to it. And then you gonna be,
Mhm.
but you ain't gonna have to worry about nothing else because the service you're gonna get
Mhm.
and people come to me, they don't like that I'm straightforward. They don't like that I'm direct. They don't like that this, that,
Mhm.
and other. But you know what? I've had several tell me, "You get on my nerves, but you so good at what you do, and that's what I come back for."
Wow.
I'm okay with it because I know, like, my clients mean, like, it's not for me about the money. Yes, I have to make money because I have overhead, but it's not
Mhm.
it's I didn't go into that for that. Yes, it's a business, don't get me
Right.
wrong. No, I can't do it for free, but the joy for me is knowing that I make some type of difference in some type of way, and that's what I do it for.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see that. You can always tell, to be honest with you, you can always tell the people who do business and do it for the people. They don't do it for
Mhm,
free, but they do it for the people, and you can always tell. And that's what I love about, you know, some of the people that I've come in contact with, that I can easily ask a question without them trying to sell me something. Because we all know people,
mm.
say they mentors, but then, they trying to sell you something. And I'm like, I just asked you I just asked you, one simple question. And, people just be a money grab for some folks. And I'm not
Yep,
saying I'm not
yep,
willing to pay for it, but I've learned to also do my due diligence when it comes to, people that I ask. Because go back what you said, some people are not who they are. And
mhm,
then people get let down because you find out that person is not who they are. And then so
mhm.
that person is looking at you like you faked me out. And I'm thinking you are. So the information that you gave me, how am I supposed to take that information, that you give me? Because I've ran into people like that too. And I'm just like, so I've learned to watch people's fruit and watch they
Mhm.
tree. Because some people don't, social
'Cause
media
and so many
that's
people
another
lead with money.
problem.
They lead with
Mhm.
money. The people that come in my mentorship, I don't parade them over social media. I don't put this, I don't say, "Oh, I closed 9 million." I don't do that. And they reach out to me. These folks, these big time popular mentors, their people reach out to me. And if I was
Mhm.
that grimy person, I would be like, "Okay, come on." But I'm not, I'm
Mhm.
about business. And I tell them, if you want a contract, I can't help you. I'm sorry you getting done wrong, but that's what you get for going after them because they said they make $9 million a day. That kind of stuff, that's a lead magnet. And I'm not knocking people who do that or whatever, but everything you can't lead with money because the first time that person doesn't get that same results, then they feel like they done been wronged. They done been scammed or they done been this or that. When people come to me, I tell them up front, it's a lot you gonna have to change. It's a lot you're gonna have to change because that amount of money is not guaranteed. You know how long it took me to get X amount of money in the tax industry? Yeah, some people say, "Oh, I got it in 60 days. I got it." Okay. But and I'm just gonna give the real because I'm just gonna give the real because like my story never changes. I done built my business. So if I don't get
Mhm,
no other mentor, mentee, no other this, no other that, tax time is built. So I don't have to
mhm,
try to game nobody because I need their money to pay this or I need their money to pay that. My business does that. And yes, I love new people.
mhm.
I love bringing on new business. I love that. But it's never going to be at the expense of telling you something that's not true just to get your money. That's just not who I say
Mhm.
I am. That's just not who I am. I have to be able to sleep at night. And I can't do that knowing
Ooh,
I
say that
done
again.
gained wrong somebody. Like, I just can't. I
Yeah,
just
I
can't.
definitely agree. I don't know how some people, especially in y'all industry, your industry with the tax, it's been a lot of tax fraud and all that, going around. And I don't see how people, sleep at night taking people's money. And I'm just like, it be like, it just
A
sad.
lot
That's
of them
why
do
in
very
any
well.
industry, really, and
Yeah.
you got to do your research on people. Like, you got to, regardless of tech industry, whatever industry, you have to do your due diligence and your research. Because
Yep.
I've, heard stories of people getting scammed. And it's just like, well, your premise and purpose? Just to get a dollar. Just be honest. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And I always, for me, some people will come to me and ask me, "Can you do X, Y, and Z?" And I'll be like, "No, but I know somebody that can, I can pass you on to somebody else because I'm that person. I'm not that hard up for money to where I'll do it. No, I got somebody. Joe Smoke can do it for you." And I think
Yep.
it's just the growth and, just taking notes and watching people and asking questions because I'm going to ask questions. And,
Mhm.
I'm going to, especially if I got personal number, I'm like that annoying little sister. If I got a question, I'm going to ask. I'm
Yeah.
going that people know I'm going to ask. And they don't, that's what I'm saying. It was, the unmute. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to ask, and it never hurts to just ask. Cause sometimes you grow up and it be like, you just never felt like you had a voice to ask cause somebody
Mm.
gonna get mad. Especially if they say, if you got any questions, come ask. And that just where, for me, that's just where that came from. Is not asking and just being quiet, sitting in the corner. And now I don't have no excuse because people got videos to hold me accountable. Remember you
Exactly.
said you was gonna do this? So now it's, I done left a digital footprint. So now I'm like, I have no choice to do what I say I was gonna do.
Exactly.
Ooh, excuse me. So with you being a business boss, what's one thing you wish you had understood when you first started?
The power of opening your mouth, the power of
Mhm.
not just being wait, not just be, not one of the main thing is not waiting to be invited into rooms I deserve to be in, not waiting to be chosen to be on certain platforms that I deserve to be on. Um, I wish then I had the courage to just kick the dough down on my own, create my own, not feel like, oh, well, I'm just not going to do it until somebody invites me because it's their platform and they don't invite me. That doesn't mean I don't deserve it, you know? So that was one thing I wish that I had a done differently, because I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
time passed with me waiting to be picked for certain opportunities that
Mhm.
I know I qualify for.
Mhm. That was a good one. So as we're wrapping up, I want to ask you this. So if hold on, I got to jump. I'm always jumping. I would get excited and jump ahead of myself. Okay. What does life look like on the other side when you find when somebody starts finally using your voice? When they start finally using their voice?
Oh, it feels good. You'll be met with some negativity from those that were benefiting from your muteness.
Mhm.
You will be met with negativity, but oh well, you don't let that turn you around. When you start feeling how free you feel and how people start seeing
Mhm.
they can't play with you and play in your face, and the different opportunities start opening up for you because you are letting them know I'm here and I deserve to be here. Um,
Mhm.
it feels good. It's like a weight that had been lifted, and then part of you feels like, "Dang, why hadn't I been done that?" You know? But for me, the best feeling for me is being able to now, because I dealt with it, being able to recognize it in somebody else and be able to, with the unmute yourself movement, help them to find their voice as well.
Mhm. I definitely found mine. 'Cause you see the challenge stopped on Friday. Saturday, I hopped on live. I
Yep,
said,
I see that. Like,
what in the world is going on?"
'cause
I
you remember
shocked
I said it
myself.
didn't stop there. Remember I said it doesn't stop here. It can keep going. Don't go back into your shell just because
I
that
was
challenge is.
like mhm. I was like, "What have I" and I told them, "Disclaimer, don't expect me to see me in eyelashes and lip gloss all the time. I just happened to wanted to go get nice and look cute and do this video because people expect that
Yeah.
parasocial relationship, expect you to have your eyelashes on and no, because I learned that when you talked about it, and that made me think, I didn't it was one video that we did and I'm putting myself on blast, and it kinda took me too long because I was like, "I can't find my lip gloss." The crazy thing about it, I couldn't find it. Then the next day, I found it. I was like, "So, I didn't need that. I didn't need that lip gloss." That's why
Yep.
it took me so long to get the video out, and it just made me think sometimes you don't need it. I
And then
didn't
just
need
keep
it.
keep going in every part of wherever you go live at. It's in your room, in the living room. 'Cause that's what I've started doing. I just keep a little tube just
Mhm,
wherever. So if I'm not near it, then I have it handy, because or don't
mhm.
let that be something that just stop you from doing it. Lick your lips and
Yeah,
go
cause it
on.
almost did. It definitely almost did. Cause I usually do have lip gloss in about 5 different places. Cause I was like, "I ain't got lip gloss.
Mhm.
I can't do this video." But she said 12 o'clock. You know what? Okay, lick my lip and, keep it moving or whatever. So, what do you want people to remember about their own voice after hearing your story?
I want people to know that their voice is powerful in whatever way they feel it is. Meaning, even if you're not a business owner, even if you're not somebody that wants to be a business owner,
Mhm,
whatever the message is that you need to say, whatever there is that whatever you need to say or to convey to others, your voice matters, and you need to use it in whatever capacity that is. So always remember that a closed mouth definitely does not get fed. A closed mouth definitely doesn't get paid. So just
mhm,
remember that whatever you need to say it. It just feels better versus holding all of it in and then feeling a way about yourself, because people still feel like they can handle you because you wanted to be the bigger person and not say nothing. We just passed that stage now, because people will be the bigger
mhm.
person you to death. No, I'm not the bigger person today. So I'm the human
Mhm,
person, and you're gonna hear what it is I have to say and how I feel, because if not, people will feel like they can continue to, you know, treat you a certain way.
So I'm like I done jumped into it. Shout out to the people over there at YouTube. We got everybody favorite Miss Kim, and we got
Hey,
I don't want to butcher
Kim.
her name. What was her name? What was her name again? It
Lena.
was Talena.
Lena.
Talena,
I knew
I
that's what you
appreciate y'all for coming
Lena.
through. Yeah, they're on
Yay!
YouTube. We had Tefano technical difficulties on Facebook. How ironic, but that's where I get my most views from is on YouTube. I mean, Facebook. And that's one thing that I like doing for live. Like for me, just my story. Cause I didn't want to go live. I always did pre-recorded videos before,
Mhm.
and then post it. But now I like live because I want to show people, yes, I mess up. Yes, I
Mhm.
screw up sometimes. And that's what people don't see. People live in delusion and not reality.
Yeah.
And I was one of those peoples for a while to live in delusion. Like, okay, this is me. I'm perfect. But now it's like, that's why I want to went to live because I'm like, okay. And I also want to interact and, let people know, like, this is real. Like, we have technical difficulties
Yeah.
and,
I've done
stuff. And I'm not
pre-recorded.
afraid because, oh, go ahead. Go
No, I
ahead.
was just gonna say I've done pre-recorded and messed up, and like, you know what?
Mm
I ain't redoing it. So this they just fit to get this
hmm.
because I ain't re. So yeah,
mm
it
hmm.
happens.
Yeah, it happens. And I'm thinking about getting into like streaming, like really taking a deep dive, like into,
Yeah.
streaming. And when I, create stuff and, introduce people to really, because outside of my podcast, I do so much more. And I just want people
Mhm.
to see, like, because this is all people think I do. This is not all I do, but it was like I wanted to put myself in a box because it was like, excuse me, oh, you all over the place. No, I'm not all over the place. I'm multifaceted and there's no way I can just pick one thing. So and I don't put I've learned not to put all my eggs in one basket, but it's just a lot of things that I'm working on that I'm excited to show everybody because nobody's
That's
perfect.
cool. Yep.
That's,
Nope, not at all.
nobody's perfect. I want to show people reality. And I think that's what makes like content now so relatable is people are
Mhm.
real,
Yep. Because I know I
you
am.
know?
And in my content
Mhm.
journey, content creating, that's what you get real. I don't sometimes have on all my lashes, my hair might be, but if I have something to say,
Mhm.
I wanna say it. And eventually that's one of the things on my bucket list. Like I would love to have my own podcast, like the studio and all of that. And that's
Mhm.
the that's what I want people to see, the real part. I don't want all the dressed up and
Mhm.
yes, I know you have to present yourself in a certain way, especially, have a
Mhm.
podcast, but as far as going live, as far as creating content, I ain't trying to go dress up and all of that before I get, no, I used to. And then I would just talk myself out of
Mhm.
even doing it because I'm like, oh, what's in
Mhm.
my background? What's
One
in it?
reason
You
that
know,
yep, definitely one reason to
I
talk
don't
yourself outside. Oh, I'm not dressed up
mm-mm.
because I got
I
this
ain't
cute
naked.
little top on
So
and some gym shorts.
yes, because like I said, I ain't naked, so y'all gonna just get whatever I
Mhm.
got on, and we gonna go with it. So
Mhm. That's one thing I love and in honesty. For me, like I said, I got on this cute top and I got on some gym shorts under here or whatever. And people don't understand. I just want people to be, I think once came into being authentic, I just was like, y'all just gonna get what y'all get or whatever. Cause people live in la la land. And I'm not. I'm no longer living in la la land. You get what you get. Hey, Mika Mika. But it's
hey,
like
Mika.
you gotta be you got to be authentic. Like
Mm,
I've learned through my experience for me, I was exhausted wearing a mask.
It's very exhausting. I've
And
never worn a mask,
you
but I've
oh, go
always
ahead. Go ahead.
showed up. I was like, I've never worn a mask. I've always showed up as me, and I think a lot of times that's why I didn't get picked for things because maybe I didn't look like I had nothing, and that's fine with me.
Mhm.
Because, but
I'm definitely
it's
fine
it's
with it.
ex-
Definitely fine with it.
yeah, it's exhausting because the people that do it now, I be like, "Girl, you can actually breathe if you just take off that not take that off. Just be you." Like you cause what
Mhm.
happens is when people sit and wear masks, they forget. There are times where they forget to put it on and that real them showing and then people like, "Who is
Mhm.
that?" Like, so it's exhausting. Just be you. Be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause like I said from my experience, it was just exhausting wearing a mask and it's like, okay, then you got like you said, you gotta realize you gotta continue to put on that same mask. 'Cause some people
Mhm.
don't put on that same mask. It's a whole different mask. And I just was like, you gonna get what you get from me. I'm sorry. Or whatever you just gonna get. And that's what I plan to bring to the internet is me, just flat out me. And I think it was one video, I think I literally did not know I snatched off my eyelashes. And I think, cause sometimes they irritate me so bad,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, I don't know if I snatched them off, but that's what I want to bring, like literally be on live and be like, I'm snatching these off. That's me, literally me. I'm, yeah, it's tiring. It's definitely
Yeah.
tiring not being yourself. So we coming to the end, and this last part is I don't know who needs to hear this. It can be to anybody, business, anything. So you just basically start off with saying, I don't know who needs to hear this, and just give your advice.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but show up as you every day, even if you're not
Mm-hmm.
chosen, even if you picked last for the kickball team, you still do not change who you are to fit into somebody else's package. You are good just the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
So show up as you every day and be yourself.
Mm-hmm. So as I always say, spread love, peace, and joy because there's enough negativity in the world. Negativity. See, I'm screwed. This is what y'all see. Spread love, peace, and joy because there is enough negativity in the world. Shout out to everybody who was on YouTube. We had technical difficulties on Facebook. So hopefully next time it will be situated. I appreciate y'all. And also for the people who will be watching the replay, thank you so much. And we are out of here.